The Tucson City Court matters, I am going to appoint the Tucson sent you. I am going to order a bond of $100 cash or secured. And your next court date, if you remain in custody, will be on May 30th. That's at 1:45. If you were to post bond and be released, then they would vacate that date, and instead you would be seen on June 18th at Tucson City Court. And if you fail to appear for any of your court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest. The hearings can also go forward in your absence. That includes trial. And if you were convicted and then failed to appear for sentencing, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're
yes.
Here today.
Kelly Martinez. Yes.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
I'm okay.
Please state your name.
My name is Kelly Lenore Martinek.
Thank you. Ms. Martinek, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of disorderly conduct, which is a domestic violence offense, and possession of drug paraphernalia. These are from October of 2023. It looks like they were pre-adjudication and a warrant was issued for your arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed on your behalf. I'm going to order, based on the history of the case, a bond of $250 cash or secured. If you are able to post bond and be released, the additional orders are that you do not commit any acts of domestic violence, do not possess any alcohol or drugs, and do not have any contact with the alleged victim of the disorderly conduct. Your next court date is going to be on May 28th at 10:30 for a case management conference. And I am going to appoint Richard Glenn to represent you in this matter. His phone number will be on the paperwork you receive. If you were to be released and then fail to appear for court, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand that.
Thank you. You're excused.
I think you have cash bonds. I know, otherwise you can just do them online, right? The cash bonds have to be done in person. That's why I was going to ask her if she can lift the cash bond.
I'm not percentage sure. It's get posted.
Okay.
But I think you can ask the question. See, she said it's true. But otherwise,
Was there a question?
Yeah, I was just curious how the cash bond works versus a regular bond.
Oh, I ordered cash or secured, so either way is...
Okay, so it can still be...
Yep.
And then like, okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
I got someplace for you.
Please state your name.
Sergio Munoz.
Mr. Munoz, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of criminal damage and assault, which are both domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in some circumstances, an attorney may be appointed on your behalf. This morning, we're going to talk about your conditions of release. And let's see.
You didn't have a driver's license. No. Hell yeah, shoot it.
I have reviewed information from pretrial services as well as the probable cause statements. And I have reviewed the Form 4C risk assessment.
He didn't translate that correctly.
I am going to order a bond of $500 after secured. If you are able to post bond and be released, then you will be further ordered to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, have no contact with the alleged victim, and do not return to the incident location. Is that where you were living, sir?
Yes.
So I will order that you can return one time with a police escort to obtain your necessary belongings. You would take my order to the nearest police station, to the residence, and they would escort you to pick up your belongings. Your next court date is going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. with Judge Foreman at Pima County Justice Court. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. If you post bond and you are released, it'll be your responsibility to appear. And if you were to fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. And I will appoint John Illis to represent you in this matter. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Sorry. Andres?
$1,000 per account. $1,000 por cargo.
Please state your name.
Jose Rodriguez?
Mr. Rodriguez, this is the time for your initial appearance. You are here this morning on a few different matters. You have charges out of Casa Grande Justice Court of possession of drug paraphernalia and failing to appear. It looks like these charges date all the way back to 2013. And then you also have charges of trespass out of Pima County. You have the right to remain silent on all of these matters. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in some circumstances, an attorney may be appointed on your behalf. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. In the Casa Grande matter, it looks like they had issued the warrant in the amount of $604.50, and there is an administrative order that has come down indicating that initial appearance judges are supposed to honor the bond set by out-of-county judges. So I am going to order that you're held on the Casa Grande matters on a bond of $604.50. That will be cash or secured. I am going to also order that they have 24 hours to make arrangements to take custody of you if you remain in custody. And if they do not take custody within 72 hours, then your release conditions will be modified to release you on your own recognizance. And you'll be ordered to appear for your case management conference on June 28th at 9 a.m. in Casa Grande. And then turning to the Pima County Justice Court case.
It sucks because the translator, he's not translating correctly. So like
do you expect that do you expect to be held for a long time in Casa Grande, or do you think you'll be released relatively quickly once you arrive there?
I wasn't ready to want that case. I've been trying to pay them in payments. But obviously, I have no job and nowhere to. I mean, I've been struggling here in Tucson, so I have no job, so I haven't been able to finish paying them. So I had to make an arrangement paying with them. And since I haven't been able to pay it, I guess they set another warrant out for my arrest.
So if I ordered that you were released on your new trespassing charge, then your next court date would be May 30th at 8:30 in the morning in Pima County Justice Court. So you would either need to be able to appear for that case or be in touch with someone to let them know you were being held elsewhere and could not appear in that case so that a warrant wouldn't issue for you in the new case. If I ordered that you were held in the new case, then you would be seen on that case tomorrow at 1 p.m. by Judge Foreman.
I mean, I don't have money to pay for the bond, so yeah.
Okay. I'm going to order that you're released on your promise to appear on your new trespassing charge. Your next court date will be May 30th at 8:30 a.m. That is at Pima County Justice Court for a criminal arraignment. The additional conditions of release are no alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the alleged victim of the trespassing, do not return to the incident location. And then if you fail to appear for your court date on May 30th, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. You're excused for today.
Thank you. Alexis is mine.
Please state your name.
Alexis Guzman.
Ms. Mom, this is the time for your initial appearance on a few different charges out of Tucson City Court. They include charges of criminal damage, disorderly conduct. Both of those are domestic violence offenses. There's also charges of assault and disorderly conduct. The first two are cases where you were on probation, and the state has filed, or the city has filed, a petition to revoke your probation, alleging that you have failed to remain law-abiding and failed to attend review hearings on your probation. The assault and disorderly conduct charges were in warrant status after you failed to appear. And then there are criminal trespass, assault, disorderly conduct, and possession of drug paraphernalia charges that were also in failure to appear status, and criminal trespass and disorderly conduct charges.
No, it's not. The one and only GyroLamb here.
You have the right to remain silent on all of these matters. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. I am going to order that you are held on a bond of $500 to cover all of these cases. That is cash or secured. And if you are able to post bond and be released, then the additional orders are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, and do not return to the incident locations for the cases that involve victims. So criminal damage, disorderly conduct, assault, disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing.
Hey, this guy right here, he has leg irons on.
I think that covers them. If you were to remain in custody, then your next court date will be on May 29th for a video review with Judge Blue. If you were to post bond and be released, then you will actually be seen on the same date. And if you were to fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You're excused for today.
Okay. All the way up, man. This is mine all the way up. Wait, I'm sorry.
Please state your name.
Corey Hogan.
Mr. Hogan, this is the time for your initial appearance on charges of assault, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. It looks like these were in failure to appear status. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in some circumstances, an attorney may be appointed on your behalf. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning.
What I've done.
looks like you have been in failure to appear status for quite a while, so I am going to order a bond of $250, cash or secured. If you are able to post bond and be released, the additional conditions of release are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, have no contact with Pamela Lindsay, do not go to her residence or workplace. If you were living there prior to being incarcerated, then you can return one time with a law enforcement escort to retrieve your personal belongings. And I will appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. If you remain in custody, your next court date will be May 30th at 1:45 with Judge Mayhew. If you post bond and are released, then your next court date will be June 30th at 9:30 in the morning for a pretrial conference, also with Judge Mayhew. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
Thank you.
From what I'm getting right there, he showed his skin flute.
Johnson?
Once again, I think he showed his
You're up, ma'am.
skin flute.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for that. Good morning. Please state your name.
Crystal Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of assault and 3 counts of disorderly conduct. Those are all domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed on your behalf. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. And if I were to order that you were released on your promise to appear, would you appear at your next court date?
Yes.
If I were to order that additional conditions of release were to have no contact with Ajari and Ajane Marchbank, do not go to their residence, would you be able to abide by that condition?
I live there. Those are my daughters.
I understand that. That was what I picked up, or at least assumed, based on the officer's narrative. However, if I were to release you today, my orders would likely be that you could have no contact with them and you could not go to the place where they are living. That's not a forever order, but it would be an order until another judge changed it. Would you be able to abide by that order?
Well, I have to get my stuff for work. I was supposed to work today.
Okay.
So I have to try to save my job.
I would allow you to return one time with a law enforcement escort to obtain your necessary belongings.
Okay.
So would you abide by the condition?
Yes, but I do need to go back there to get my stuff.
I understand. All right. So I am going to order that you're released on your promise to appear for court. The additional orders are that you may possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, have no contact with the alleged victims, do not return to their residence, except you may return one time with a police escort to retrieve your personal belongings. So you'll take my order to the closest police station and they will escort you to obtain the things you need. Pretrial services was not able to speak with your daughters, and that is why I'm ordering no contact. If pretrial services is able to speak with them, then it's possible the judge at your next court date could change that order. Your next court date is going to be June 24th at 9 a.m. for a pretrial conference in courtroom 6 at Tucson City Court. If you were to fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
Victor Mendoza.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Victor Manuel Mendoza.
Mr. Mendoza, this is the time for your initial appearance. It looks like you are here this morning on a couple of older matters where a warrant had issued for your arrest, including charges of criminal trespass and criminal damage, and then new charges of criminal trespass and obstruction. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. The judge who issued your warrant requested that you be held on a bond of $200 cash or secured, and I am going to honor that request. As looking over the file, that does seem to be reasonable. I am going to order that if you are released, you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal substances, have no contact with the alleged victims of the criminal trespass or criminal damage charges, do not return to those incident locations. If you remain in custody, your next court date is going to be on May 30th for a video review hearing. That's at 1:45. The jail would make you available. If you post bond and are released, then they will vacate that video review date, and your next court date will be June 18th at 2 p.m. If you fail to appear for court, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Thank you. Your excuse.
Randy, hold it.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Randy, Paulie.
Mr. Pauly, this is the time for your initial appearance. You are here on charges that were in warrant status of criminal damage and disorderly conduct, which are both domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release, and the judge who issued the warrant has requested that I set the bond at $1,000. Based on the length of time this case has been going on and the failure to appear history, since this case is from 2021 and there is a victim active in the case, that does seem appropriate. So I am going to order $1,000 cash or secured. The additional orders, if you are able to be released, are that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal substances, commit no acts of domestic violence, have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, do not go to their residence or workplace. If you remain in custody, the next court date will be May 30th at 1:45 for a video review. And if you are released after posting bond, then your next court date will be June 24th at 9 a.m. If you fail to appear after being released, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your excuse.
Just extend me up.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Oh, Stem.
Mr. Stin, this is the time for your initial appearance. You are here this morning on new felony charges of aggravated assault on a peace officer. And then you also have some charges out of Tucson City Court.
I think that's the wrong way. Both of them are not true, Your Honor.
Thank you. Those charges include 3 counts of criminal trespass, 1 count of interfering with the judicial order, 1 count of soliciting, and 2 counts of exposure. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning.
Okay.
And do you have the recommendation for this one?
Your Honor.
So I have it. I was asking the clerk. I think they were printed out after the files were given to me. All right. Okay, so we are going to start with your felony matter, if I didn't say it already, the public defender is appointed to represent you in the new felony. And I am also going to appoint the City of Tucson public defender to represent you in the City of Tucson misdemeanors.
Okay.
So I have reviewed some things while preparing to determine your conditions of release. That includes the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $15,000 on the new felony. It includes the interim complaint, which describes the circumstances surrounding that offense. And
So I'm not getting released.
She hasn't made that decision yet. She's in the process.
Thank you. All right.
I'm telling you what I've reviewed to prepare to make the decision.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so I also reviewed information from pretrial services. That lets me know whether you have any previous felony convictions. It lets me know whether you were able to provide information or references regarding your ties to the community. And they also perform assessments and make recommendations. So I have that information from pretrial services. Would the state like to be heard further?
Your Honor, this person looks to be less than 4 months out of the Department of Corrections, and he's already picking up new felonies. In the process of being arrested, he apparently kicked an officer in the groin whilst he was sitting in a patrol vehicle. We had questioned the sufficiency of community ties. He has a history of failing to appear, failing to comply in terms of there's a probation violation. And given everything, he's likely looking at prison if he ends up being convicted on this, given his background. And he's also staked out of states twice over.
Thank you.
Your Honors. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Stem, I'm about to ask the attorney seated with you to speak on your behalf.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider releasing Mr. Stem's pretrial services, or the alternative that you impose nominal bond much lower than the $15,000. He is a lifelong resident of the community. His mother lives in town, and given his indigent status, a substantial bond in this case would be in effect holding him no bond. So we'd ask that you consider all of those things in imposing your decision.
And you are.
So on the felony charge, I'm going to order a bond of $1,500, cash or secured, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. If you are able to post bond, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim.
Your Honor, I want to also note that this victim stroked my penis during a pat down. And I want to let you know that this was just instinct because I felt violated and insecure. And I said, no, she needs to know this. Like, this is not something that is that big of a deal. And there's no way for me to prove that he violated me first. And for you to put a bond on this particular charge, I feel it's unnecessary because I feel that I can meet this charge and that I will not do time for it. So I ask you to be pleased to RO me on the felony charge.
Thank you, sir. And then turning to the City of Tucson misdemeanor charges, I am going to order a bond of $500 total for all of those charges. That will be cash or secured also. Possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact of any kind with the alleged victims in these charges. Do not return to the incident locations of any of these charges. And your other city court cases will be consolidated with this case, and I will vacate the May 28th date that was set and set all of these together for new court dates. If If you remain in custody, then your the jail will make it available for your next court date. If you were to post bond and be released, then it would be your responsibility to appear.
I cannot afford bond, Your Honors.
And your next court date for Tucson City Court is going to be May 29th at 1:45 with Judge Blue.
What is today's date?
The 20th. And if you were to fail to appear for your future court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Thank you.
Thank you. You're excused.
Sorry, Your Honor, what is his next court date on the felony matter?
That is, I don't think I said it. It's May 30th at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And you're excused for today.
Next.
Please state your name. Mr. Hampton, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of burglary. You have the right to...
I didn't burglarize anybody. I was trying to take care of your issue.
I'm telling you what the state is alleging. Okay.
There was no burden to it. I didn't.
Thank you. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. To prepare for that, I reviewed the state's recommendation. They're recommending that you be held on a bond of $2,500. I have also reviewed the interim complaint, which describes the circumstances surrounding your arrest. And I have reviewed information from pretrial services that lets me know whether or not you have any felony criminal history and whether you were able to provide information and references regarding your ties to the community. They also complete assessments and recommendations. Would the state like to be heard further regarding its recommendation?
No, Judge.
Thank you. And defense. You're still on mute, sir.
Oh, come on, tell me.
Sorry, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider releasing Mr. Hampton to pretrial services. He is a lifelong member of the community, and though he is homeless, he is disabled and has those strong roots here. I would also note that while he does have a prior, it is from 1988 and is for marijuana possession. So we would ask, given the charges in this case and those other factors that we've already outlined, that you consider him for release to pretrial services, as the imposition of any bond because of his indigent status will be in effect holding him no bond.
Thank you. And I think the concern I have here is whether or not he can keep track of the dates and make it to his next court date. Are you able to provide any information from Mr. Hampton about that?
If I may speak to Mr. Hampton for one moment.
Yes, thank you.
But Mr. Hampton does indicate that he does have someone that he can check into a case manager. I'm not sure if that's through one of the Health Community Services. So he would check in with them and make arrangements to be available at the next court date.
Then, Mr. Hampton, I am going to give you a chance on pretrial services. I'm going to order that you Submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. They're probably going to have you check in with them pretty frequently, so you'll have to find a way to do that. You may not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You may not possess any firearms or weapons. You may have no contact with the alleged victim, and you may not return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be on June 9th. That is at 1:30 for a pre-trial conference.
I don't think have you ever seen anybody get OR
But,
in Florida?
That's at Pima County Justice Court. And if you were to fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Sir, there is a transition center located in a trailer outside the jail. They may be able to help you with resources and places to go. So I'd recommend stopping in there after you are released. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear for court?
yeah.
All right. Thank you. You're excused.
Is there numbers to call them to so you'll have a bit this a couple hours to call that numbers. Instead, once
I laugh, but it's sad. Because this is how they really treat you. This is how they treat you in these situations. She's like, I don't even know what's going on, Your Honor.
All right, now slow and fair the rest. Thank you. All right, folks, here we have the sides. We have the final.
There we go. What?
We'll sit down for it. This one is hello, buddy. Mr. Marlene, you're gonna be first. Screw down, guys. Get down, so that's a vote. Well, that's a vote.
Please state your name. Mr. Amato, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of disorderly conduct with a weapon, which is a domestic violence offense, possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the Public Defender's Office for Pima County to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. I have reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $7,500. I have also reviewed the interim complaint describing the circumstances surrounding your charges, and I have reviewed the pretrial services information that lets me know whether you have any felony criminal history, whether you were able to provide information and references regarding your ties to the community, and their assessments and recommendations. They were not able to get in touch with Priscilla, so regardless of whatever else I order, I am going to order that you're not allowed to have any contact with her. Would the state like to be heard further about its recommendations?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, and defense.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider release to pretrial services or the alternative, a bond lower than $7,500. He is a lifelong member of the community, and while he does have priors, they are mostly DUI and drug related, which of course was an underlying factor in this case. But given his indigent status, imposition of a significant bond would essentially be like holding him no bond.
They can.
Thank you. I am going to order that you are held on a bond of $2,500 cash or secured. If you are released, you'll be released to pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. If you do own any firearms, you'll have to surrender those to local law enforcement. No contact with the alleged victim, and do not return to the incident location. Were you living with the victim?
Thank you for that, Davey.
Sort of, but not really.
Do you have personal belongings that you need to obtain from her home?
No.
Your next court date is going to be on May 30th at 1:30 for a preliminary hearing. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for the hearing. If you are able to post bond or otherwise be released prior to that date, it'll be your responsibility to appear. And if you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there is a transition center and a trailer outside the jail. If you are released, you may stop by there to see if they can help you with any resources. You're excused.
And for those of you that wonder, this is Spokane, Florida, and yes,
Thank you. There's a few interim complaints.
Oh, yes.
Good morning. Please state your name.
it's a girl.
Adrian's mom?
Ms. Capone, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here on a couple of different matters. You have two different sets of charges of organized retail theft and aggravated shoplifting. You have the right to remain silent on both of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release, and to prepare for that, I have reviewed the state's request. They are asking that you be held on $7,500 rather than asking that you be held without bond. And that is because it looks like you are released to pretrial services on another offense from September of 2024. And under the Arizona Constitution, if you are on release for a felony offense when you are alleged to commit a new felony offense, the state has the right to ask that you be held no bond. It looks like they're not doing that today. Instead, they're asking for a bond of $7,500. I've also reviewed pretrial services information, which tells me some information about you, including any ties to the community that you were able to provide, and their assessments and recommendations. And then I have reviewed the interim complaints, which describe the circumstances surrounding the charges. Would the state like to be heard further regarding its recommendations?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, and defense.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider release to pretrial services or any alternative, an imposition of a nominal bond in this case. This is a non-violent shoplifting offense, so while there are multiple items that were alleged to have been taken, there was no element of force or violence in this crime. And while she does have one pending case, it is not a felony conviction for those purposes. She has no priors. So we would ask the court to consider all of that in its imposition, and we thank the court for its consideration.
Thank you. So I'll order a bond of $5,000 cash or secured. If you are able to post that bond, you'll be released to pretrial services. You'll be required to submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drug, no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victims. Do not return to the incident locations. Your next court date will be on May 30th at 1:30 for a preliminary hearing. If you were to fail to appear for any future court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
Your Honor, is that bond consecutive or concurrent?
It's going to be concurrent.
What is
Thank you.
what's going on right here?
Dash. No, okay, yeah. You don't put it.
Find her.
Oh.
I'm trying to work out if you see something.
Please state your name.
Oh, she'll be pissed.
Mr. Cash, you are here this morning on charges of possessing a firearm as a prohibited possessor, as well as charges of discharging a firearm in city limits and discharging a firearm at a residential structure. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning, and I have reviewed the interim complaints describing the circumstances surrounding your arrest. I have also reviewed information from pretrial services that lets me know whether you have any prior criminal history, and it also lets me know whether you were able to provide information regarding your ties to the community and references, as well as their assessments and recommendations.
The people you see are your imagination. Lord,
Would the state like to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure if the court is aware, but they did inform me here at the jail that they did receive a document that he may have a probation hold.
Oh, yes, I was told that that a probation hold was likely to be in place by the time we got to him.
So they're confirming that it's arrived. Given those circumstances, I would ask that any imposition of a bond, that it be a nominal bond, just while he'll be pending that hold, and so his attorney at a later point can take up that issue, but he can receive time credit on this case in the interim. He has 10 years in the community. He's employed part-time. He has a brother and his mom in town, and they're willing to assume third-party custody. So I'd ask that the court consider all of that, and he's beyond the age of 22 in deciding whether or not he does call.
Thank you. So I am going to order a concurrent bond of $150,000 cash or secured in each matter. If you were able to post bond, you'd be released to pretrial services. You'd be required to submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Surrender any firearms that are in your possession. No contact with the alleged victims. Do not return to their residence or workplace.
Dylan.
Your next court date will be on May 30th at 1:30. That is for a preliminary hearing. It's possible that court date will change. If you fail to appear for any future court dates after being released, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
Well,
Hey guys, my account just got restricted. I gotta start the stream all over. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Don't forget to hit that follow button.
Please state your name.
Javier Corral?
Mr. Corral, this is the time for your initial appearance. You're here on felony charges of criminal damage. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. I have reviewed information from the interim complaint, which describes the circumstances surrounding your arrest. I also reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $2,500, and I have reviewed pretrial services information, which lets me know whether you have any previous felony convictions. It lets me know whether you were able to provide information and references regarding your ties to the community. And it also contains their assessments and their recommendations. Would the state like to be heard further?
Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider releasing Mr. Peralta to pretrial services. The underlying offense here is nonviolent. He is a lifelong member of the community. His mother is in town and willing to assume third-party custody. He is employed full-time as a remodeler, and it is a college student. And while he does have one prior that's part of his criminal history, it was formally designated a misdemeanor. So for those purposes, he has no felony priors.
I don't know if you're getting that misdemeanor on taking classes when we're studying these plots. I don't know.
Mr. Peralta also mentions that he is currently working on taking classes that will ultimately lead to that misdemeanor being expunged from the record, though that hasn't happened yet.
I am going to order a bond of $500 cash or secured. If you are able to post bond and be released, you'll be released to pretrial services. You'll be required to submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim. Do not go to their residence, their workplace. Your next court date is going to be on May 30th at 1:30. That's for a preliminary hearing. If you were to fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Garcia? Yes.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Garcia.
Garcia. This is the time for your initial appearance. You're here this morning on charges of aggravated driving under the influence, endangerment, and resisting arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am appointing the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release this morning. I have reviewed the interim complaint describing the circumstances surrounding your arrest. I have also reviewed information from pretrial services That gives me their assessments and recommendations, as well as information about your ties to the community and any references you were able to provide, as well as information about whether you have any previous felony convictions. Would this, actually, do you have number 27? It's okay. Okay. I have reviewed the state's recommendation as well. They're recommending that you be held on a bond of $15,000. Would the state like to be heard further?
Your Honor, this would be his third DUI. He's a 4 on the new crime scale. The state doesn't know what it's going to take for this person to stop driving drunk. We don't want to see somebody killed here. 15,000.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that you consider the imposition of a bond lower than $15,000. His father does live in town. He's employed full-time in construction. So we would ask that you give consideration to those factors in making your final decision.
Thank you.
I wasn't drinking.
So the changes put in the document here. But in terms of the other factors, like, it'll be something that I'll have to consider.
So you're the cool boss. I'm excluded from that chat.
Thank you.
You can be seated. this is the 11 a.m. initial appearance docket. We're going to call you individually into this room, and when you get here, there's a lectern. Stand behind that. Give me your full name and date of birth. I will be giving you important information you need to take with you. You don't have to try to memorize what I tell you, because before you leave the area, you'll receive a printed copy of the document concerning your case, everything that's important in your case to take with you. If you're someone who's here on a probation violation matter that'll be heard in Maricopa County Superior Court, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you so that you'll have counsel at your next court appearance. If you're someone who is released, you need to make sure that you review the release order and comply with any conditions it may contain. For example, if the conditions include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime or having contact with the alleged victims or witnesses, and you are arrested and taken into custody for violating those particular conditions, you likely will not be released easily again. All right, we'll start with, we have two Spanish speakers. Can the interpreter hear me?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. This is Jared Clark, interpreter.
Thank you. All right, first will be Aurelio Santos Villa.
Primero es Aurelio Santos Villa.
Give me your full name and date of birth, please.
Deme su nombre completo y fecha de nacimiento, por favor.
Aurelio Villa Santos.
Fecha de nacimiento.
Julio 27 del 70.
Aurelio Villa Santos, July 27th, 1970.
All right, Mr. Villa, you were arrested yesterday, charged with aggravated driving while under the influence, two separate counts, class 4 felonies.
Bueno, señor, Villa fue arrestado ayer por un caso de manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol con agravantes. Tiene dos acusaciones en ese aspecto.
I appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you as your attorney. I am releasing you on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix on June 4th at 8:30. Do you have any questions?
Entonces, señor, nombro la Defensoría Pública para representarlo. Lo estoy dejando salir bajo su palabra y su próxima audiencia va a ser el 4 de junio a las 8:30 en el juzgado que se encuentra acá en el centro de Phoenix. ¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
No, está bien.
Okay,
No, that's
your
okay.
order's right over.
Sus órdenes están a la izquierda de usted. Al salir, se la van a dar.
Okay, Noel Beaches.
Noel Vilches.
Okay, full name, date of birth, please.
Su nombre completo y fecha de nacimiento, por favor.
Octubre 17 del 82.
October 17th, 1982.
You, sir, were arrested yesterday, charged with possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Señora, a usted se le acusó tiene una acusación, de tenencia de drogas peligrosas, delito mayor de categoría 4 y una acusación de posesión de artefactos para el consumo de drogas, delito mayor de categoría 6. He nombrado la Defensoría Pública para representarlo.
You have other arrest warrants that have been issued against you in other jurisdictions. I don't have all the information, but you'll be held on those, I understand, despite what we do here.
Señor, tengo que informarle que usted tiene órdenes de arresto pendientes de otras jurisdicciones. hagamos lo que hagamos con su nuevo caso de aquí, se le va a detener con respecto a esas órdenes de arresto de otros lugares.
I set a $50 bond in your case if the warrants that I see exist in your case from other jurisdictions do not hold you in custody. Then all you have to do is post $50 to get out on this case. But if they do hold you, you'll continue to get credit on the time you're held in custody on this case because of the $50 bond.
He fijado una fianza del monto de $50. Eso significa que si usted deposita los $50 y las órdenes de arresto de otras jurisdicciones no lo tienen encarcelado, puede salir en libertad. Si lo tienen encarcelado, entonces por lo menos con la fianza de $50 usted va a acumular crédito para cualquier posible pena de todas las demás los demás casos de las órdenes de arresto.
Do you have any questions?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
Solamente tengo 42.
I only have 42.
42 what?
42 qué? Years.
Well,
I'm only 42 years old.
También.
You have $42 that you posted here when you were arrested.
En los libros.
All right, I have
$42 on the books.
All right. I will reduce the amount of the bond that you're being held on to $42 or $40.
Puede reducir la cantidad de la fianza de este caso entonces a $40.
If you're released on the other matters, you only have that $40 you'll have to post. All right?
Entonces, si puede salir en libertad con respecto a los demás casos, entonces solamente tendrá que depositar una fianza de $40 en este caso.
He has another question.
¿Tiene otra pregunta?
Me quiero ir a internar a una rehabilitación. Si puedo.
I want to check into a rehabilitation program. Can I do that?
Eventually, you'll be able to, but the purposes of this hearing is simply to determine if you have a warrant issued for you, and in this case, I guess you were arrested yesterday, is to give you your initial appearance and determine what conditions of release should be imposed in this case because of the other warrant. A bond was set, otherwise you would have been released, but you can enroll in a rehabilitation program sometime in the future, but not today.
Entonces, señor, con el tiempo va a poder inscribirse en algún programa de rehabilitación. Todavía no lo puede hacer. En este caso, como usted tiene otras órdenes de arresto, tiene que determinar si esas órdenes de arresto lo están deteniendo en la cárcel también. En ese caso no podrá salir en libertad todavía. Si las órdenes de arresto de los otros casos no lo tienen entonces detenido, al depositar los $40 en este caso podría salir en libertad. Y con el tiempo sí va a poder inscribirse en alguna rehabilitación, pero todavía no.
Okay. Orders right over there.
Sus órdenes están allí a la izquierda.
All right, thank you. You want to inquire?
Sure, no problem. Buenos días, damas y caballeros. Si hay alguien más que necesite intérprete en español, levante la mano, por favor.
Anyone else need a Spanish interpreter? No hands, Your Honor. Okay, no takers. Thank you. Great job.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you. Tiffany Boone, and then after Tiffany will be Stephen Gotchel.
I know.
Full name, date of birth, please.
Tiffany Boone, 9/10/82.
All right, ma'am. You are on felony probation here in Maricopa County Superior Court. They contend you violated conditions of probation on December 18th of last year. A warrant for your arrest was issued with a $100 bond. Your next court date will be a revocation arraignment hearing in Superior Court, downtown Phoenix, May 27th at 8:30. Your order's right over there. Okay. Stephen Gottschall. And then after Mr. Gottschall will be Starla Johnson. Full name, date of birth, please.
Stephen Gottschall, July 24th, 1994.
All right, Mr. Gottschall, you're on felony probation in Maricopa County on 2 separate felony convictions. A warrant for your arrest for violating conditions of probation was issued on May 5th in each case with a $750 bond in one case, $250 in the other. Your next court date will be a revocation arraignment hearing, May 27th at 8:30, Superior Court in downtown Phoenix, and your order's right over there. Starla Johnson, and then it'll be Maximino Escobar. Full name, date of birth?
1/13/89.
Full name?
Starla Johnson.
All right, Ms. Johnson, you're on felony probation, 2 separate felony convictions. They contend you violated conditions of probation, and in each case, a warrant was issued on February 11th. $300 bond in one case, $50 bond in the other. Next court date will be your revocation arraignment hearing, Superior Court, downtown Phoenix, May 27th at 8:30. And your order's right over there. Maximino Escobar, then it will be Alexandria Rogers. Full name, date of birth?
Maximino Escobar, 9/7/1990.
All right, Mr. Escobar, you have warrants out of 2 separate justice courts for failing to appear. On you in Encanto Justice Court, you were charged with driving under the influence. That was back in March of 2020. This is your second arrest warrant. This warrant was issued on May 8th of last year with a $250 bond. Your next court date in Encanto Justice Court will be May 23rd at 8:30. The second matter is out of Encanto Justice Court, is West McDowell Justice Court. It is for driving on a suspended license. This warrant was for $2,500. Justice courts take that stuff pretty seriously. This warrant was issued on April 11th of last year. I'm reducing the bond to $250. Your next court date will be in, let me get on that case, West McDowell Justice Court, May 23rd at 8:30, and your order's right over there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alexandria Rogers, and then it'll be Crystal Martinez. Full name, date of birth, please.
Alexandra Rogers, March 7, 2004.
All right, ma'am, you are here because you were charged with driving on a suspended license in the jurisdiction of Goodyear Municipal Court. You had a court appearance scheduled, and you failed to appear on July 15th of 2021. They issued a warrant for your arrest. This is your first arrest.
It is.
The bond was $500.
I have a quick question for you. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead. Let me finish. You also have a warrant out of Avondale which is not one that we handle the initial appearances on. It was issued on April 21st of 2021. So what did you want to tell me?
2021, sir, I never got in trouble for anything.
You what?
Never got in trouble for anything. What is the charges for? You said they're for...
Well, Avondale, I don't know. Our records just show that what I wrote down on my notes, an arrest warrant in Avondale from April of 2021. You're charged with driving on a suspended license out of Goodyear Municipal Court because this case is alleged to have occurred back in 2021. That's when the warrant was issued. It was a $500 bond. I've reduced it to $50. Your next court date will be May 27th. Wait a minute, I'm going to make sure.
I do have a quick question for you.
I'm sorry, what, ma'am?
I do have a quick, I do have to tell you something real quick. When I was talking to the officer before, he detained me, brought me here, I told him how that wasn't me. The 2021, that whole driving on suspended license with the warrant, I never got in trouble for that. I never got pulled over before in 2021, never had a license, never got in trouble for any of that stuff. My first time ever being pulled over was last year in 2024 in August for driving on suspended license because I was driving to Oklahoma.
Let me tell you before you go too far.
Okay.
This arrest warrant was out of Arrowhead Justice Court, and it was in Mayor Justice Court that you have an open case in with a warrant issued for driving on a suspended license.
And is this in 2021?
What's that?
You said in 2021?
Well, I apologize. On this docket I put together, I went down to the next case, and instead of reading from your case directly, what I did is, because you have an open case in Mayor Justice Court, officer,
Yes, Your Honor.
could you tell me, does she have a hold from Mayor Justice Court?
I don't have it on here, sir.
Really? Well, because my notes, let me go back and look at what we had. Yeah, open justice case, Justice Court case, Mayor Justice Court, driving on a suspended license. It shows the initial appearance date is today, but we don't have it on our docket.
So when I got pulled over today for the first time, being arrested, he told me that how I was charged on June 1st and on 2023 for driving on a suspended license, which I never was pulled over in 2023 on June 1st.
I told you I inadvertently was reading from the document of the next case below you. You were arrested today earlier today on driving on a suspended license. I apologize.
Okay.
Because of the hold that you have out of Mayor Justice Court, which the officer tells me is not on there. The only reason I set a bond in your case was so that if that was correct and you were held, you'd get credit for the time you're in on this, but if you weren't going to be held, all you had to do was post a $50 bond. But after what the officer told me, that you do not have any holds, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance in the case you were arrested on earlier today.
I do have a question.
And your next court date, you're being released, and your next court date will be June 4th at 8:30. Where am I here? Yes, I apologize. These are DUI cases and Class 6 felonies in this case. I appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're being released on your own recognizance. The next court date, June 4th at 8:30, and you'll get the amended order in just a few minutes.
I do have one last question for you.
Go ahead.
Because I was telling the officer how the first time I was pulled over for the suspended license. That's why I have a suspended license, because in 2023 I was pulled over, which I was never pulled over, so that's why I have a suspended license now. That's why it's saying I'm driving on a suspended license, which I was never pulled over in 2023. And I did have someone stole my birth certificate a couple years ago. I don't know if that has to do with anything.
You can you can hire an attorney to represent you, tell him that, or tell the judge that.
Because the officer, he told me to tell you when I got here.
I'm not holding you anymore.
Right, okay.
Because of you're not having a warrant from another jurisdiction that would hold you in custody, even if I released you. When the officer tells me there's no hold on you based upon their records, so you should be released by the time the sun sets, maybe. There you go. Good luck. Crystal Martinez, and then it'll be Sean Carlisle. Full name, date of birth?
Crystal Martinez, April 30th, 1997.
All right, ma'am. This is the matter out of Goodyear Municipal Court. You failed to appear. This is an incident that's alleged to have occurred in April of 2021. This warrant was issued on July 15th of 2021 with a $500 bond. Apparently, officer, do you show that there's an Avondale hold? Yes. Okay, there's an Avondale hold on this case for a court date you missed there. So I set a $50 bond in this case. And if you can resolve that matter quickly, all you have to do is post $50 here. But if they hold you for more days, you'll get credit in this case for the time you spent in custody. Your next court date will be May 28th at 8:30, Goodyear Municipal Court in this case. All right?
So if I pay $50,
if you pay $50, you'll get out on this case, but you'll still have the Avondale hold.
So I wouldn't be going home?
That, apparently, and I don't know anything about it other than there's an Avondale hold. All right?
So what would that mean?
You'll be seeing Avondale will see you within 24 hours of you being picked up also. All right, Sean Carlisle, and then it'll be Suzanne Wilcox. Yeah, full name, date of birth, please.
Sean Carlisle, 6/29/83.
All right, Mr. Carlisle, you have two matters here out of Arrowhead Justice Court. You were charged with criminal trespass and failure to appear. In the other case, it was another criminal trespass matter. When you failed to appear in these matters, they issued a warrant for your arrest. This is issued on May 7th. In the first case, this is your fourth arrest in that case.
I was here.
Huh?
I was here.
Well, I'm telling you that I'm going to affirm the amount of the warrant that you were arrested on 3 previous times in Arrowhead Justice Court, which is $545. And then in the other case on May 7th, the warrant was issued for you, and it doesn't show that you'd missed any court appearances, but it's a fairly recent case. I affirm the amount of the bond at $545. Also in that case, your next court date will be May 23rd at 8:30. There you go. Your order's right over there.
So how much should I get?
$545 times 2.
$1,000?
Yeah. And change. Let's see. Yeah, $590. All right. Suzanne Wilcox, and then it'll be Melanie Marino. Yes. Full name, date of birth?
Suzanne Wilcox, 7/25/79.
All right, ma'am, you were arrested yesterday, charged with 3 separate offenses: aggravated domestic violence, a Class 5 felony because of previous convictions for domestic violence, a form of assault, a misdemeanor, and disorderly conduct by fighting, a misdemeanor. The Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you.
Yes.
I am releasing you on supervised release to appear in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix on June 4th at 8:30. By supervised release, pretrial services will be supervising you within a few days of your release. There's a phone number on your release papers. Call them and touch base with them, all right? Conditions of your release, and this is the important part.
Yes.
You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime or have contact with alleged victims or witnesses. And if an order of protection is issued and you're served with a copy, you must comply with its terms. All right?
Yes. Let me ask a question.
Yes.
I live in Peoria, and I had a court-appointed attorney I haven't slept all night. Appointed to me. Her name's Sherry Loretano, and we've been working out of the Peoria Municipal Court on like Grand and 83rd Avenue. So I was wondering if I could.
This can't be changed. Plus, Peoria, you'd say in Peoria Justice Court or Civil Court, yeah, well, this is a felon because you're charged with a felony, Class 5 felony.
Why is
this will be because of you have, I think it was 2 previous domestic violence convictions on misdemeanors in the last 3 or 5 years. That's what it is. And if that's not correct, the attorney that is appointed can bring that to the court's attention, and if they have improperly charged you with a felony, that can be modified. All right? But
I believe 2 were dismissed.
But I'm releasing you, okay, on supervised release. So if there's a mistake that's been made in how you've been charged, you can correct that at your next court appearance.
Okay, June 4th, you said?
Everything I told you is printed on that form that you're going to hand you when you walk back there. Okay. All right? There you go.
Am I going to get released today?
Yes, I told you you're being released, but it's supervised release. There's a number there. If you have any problems, questions, call that number at pretrial services. But call them and touch base with them within a few days of your release. Okay? There you go.
Thank you.
Melanie Moreno, and then it will be Javier de la Cruz. Full name, date of birth?
Melanie Moreno on July 6th of 2003.
All right, ma'am. You were arrested yesterday, charged with unlawful use of means of transportation as a passenger of apparently it was a stolen car. That's a Class 6 felony, and criminal trespass, a misdemeanor. I appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court date will be June 4th at 8:30 in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. And your order's right over there.
Thank you.
Javier de la Cruz, and then it'll be Gustavo Lopez. Full name, date of birth?
Javier de la Cruz, February 26, 2002.
All right, you, sir, were arrested yesterday, charged with theft of means of transportation, a Class 3 felony, possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. The Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you. I'm releasing you on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court, downtown Phoenix, June 4th at 8:30. All right? Gustavo Lopez, then it'll be Raymond Enriquez. Full name, date of birth?
March 10th of 2000.
Full name?
Gustavo Espinoza Lopez.
All right. You, sir, were arrested earlier today, charged with possession of narcotic drugs, Class 4 felony, driving on a suspended or revoked license, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Pretrial services says you're financially capable of hiring your own attorney. If it's not correct, you can request appointment of counsel at any subsequent court proceeding. I'm releasing you on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court, downtown Phoenix, June 4th at 8:30. And your order's right over there. Raymond Enriquez, and then it'll be Carl Tromberry. Full name, date of birth?
August 20th, 1989. Raymond Anthony Enriquez.
Okay, sir, you were charged by direct complaint by the county attorney's office with driving under the influence, class 4, 2 counts, class 4 felonies. Pretrial services says that you are financially capable of hiring your own counsel. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix, June 4th at 8:30. And your order's right over there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Call from Barry, and then it will be house calls. Okay. Full name.
Morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Full name, date of birth, please. Full name, date of birth?
Joseph Tromberry, April 19th, 1961.
All right, Mr. Tromberry, you were charged in the jurisdiction of El Centro Justice Court with trespass.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, you don't believe it? It's true. I've got the arrest warrant right here, a copy of it. You failed to appear on February 24th. Because it's your first arrest in this matter, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance to appear in El Centro Justice Court June 5th at 8:30. Conditions of your release are that you're not to go back to the location where this is alleged to have occurred. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, your order's right over there.
All right.
All right, got a couple of house calls here. Carson Flater was charged with assault with intent. This is yesterday. Intent to injure, a misdemeanor, criminal damage, a class 6 felony, and consuming alcohol under the statutory age, a misdemeanor. County Attorney's Office appointed to represent him. $1,100 bond is set. Conditions of his release are he's not to return to the scene where this is alleged to have occurred or contact with victims, and if an order of protection is issued, he must comply with its terms. Next court date will be May 27th at 8:30. Let me see what was recommended here. States recommended 15,000. Okay. And Douglas Crilly was arrested yesterday, charged with criminal damage by defacement, a class 6 felon misdemeanor. No, I got, this drives me crazy. Crilly didn't pop up when I clicked on it. There we go. Mr. Crilly was charged yesterday with aggravated assault, a class 6 felony, 2 counts, and criminal damage, a class 5 felony. Counsel is appointed. A bond is set in the amount of $2,500. Next court date will be June 4th at 8:30. In the arrest yesterday, he has 2 other matters. Arrest warrant out of Goodyear Municipal Court for failing to pay a fine. He hasn't been arrested on it yet. I set a $50 bond in that case. Next court date, May 28th at 8:30. And then lastly, he has a probation violation when this is alleged to have occurred. Yesterday's incident, he was on felony probation. They request a hold be placed. A $250 bond is set. Next court date, revocation arraignment, May 27th at 8:30. That's everybody, right? Correct? All right.